Hi lovies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's dive into today's video. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok and I thought to share with you guys because I found this video very educating and an extreme one. I decided to put it up here for us to give more insight about these findings. So this lady and some of all of these teachers I was able to put together are talking about how Black women are the only women that have this, DNA. They call it the Eve DNA. And I'm just going to roll the clip. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section.
Black women are the only organisms on Earth that possess the mitochondrial DNA that has all of the variations possible for every single kind of different human being on this Earth. The African, the albino, the European, the Middle Eastern. When the DNA of a Black woman mutates, all other kinds of human beings come about. Go ahead and research this topic. It's called the Eve gene, and it's only found in Black women. Sorry, but Black women are actually the manifestation of God.
Hold up, stop right now and watch this video. Did y'all know that Black women are the only organisms on Earth that produces the mitochondria DNA? That has all of the variations possible for every single kind of different human being on this Earth. Such as the Africans, the albinos, the Europeans, the Hispanics, the Asians, the Middle Easterns, all Latinos, you name it. When the DNA of a Black woman mutates, all other kinds of different human beings come about. I'll actually like for y'all to go research this for yourselves because y'all can actually learn a lot. I'll be putting links down below, and this is called the Eve gene, just in case if y'all don't know, and it is only found in Black women. So if any racists try to bring you down, including the Black boys, because I see them being a lot of colorists, let them know they wouldn't be who they are today if it wasn't for you, because you are the manifestation of God. Praise y'all.
If we trace the ancestral lineage of all living humans, mother to mother to mother to mother, we arrive at our earliest common maternal ancestor, mitochondrial Eve. How do we know this? Because mitochondria have their own DNA that's only passed from mothers to offspring, so scientists use it as a clock to track human ancestry. But this isn't Genesis. There's no such thing as the first members of a species anyways. Our mitochondrial most recent common ancestor changes over time. By chance, as today's humans live and die, a different person temporarily becomes our singular direct line maternal ancestor. Someone who likely lived alongside many others of our ancestors. The whole concept began as a statistical inference and quickly became an ambiguous image of a unique original ancestral mother. This emotional negotiation between the abstract and the embodied allows one's gendered, racialized, and sexualized assumptions to appear natural. In other words, it's possible for us to project our bias onto symbols like mitochondrial Eve and use them to reinscribe racist, colonial, and cis-heterosexist hierarchies. Instead, I think mitochondrial Eve honors both human difference and commonality.
Every person on this planet today that we know of can trace their maternal DNA back to one female walking around Africa that existed between 150 and 200,000 years ago, named mitochondrial Eve. My video last night mentioning this had a lot of really good questions, and I wanted to kind of break that down and explain it a little bit better to try to clear that up. Because yeah, like this commenter said, evolution doesn't happen to individuals, it happens to populations. So just like off the top of it, this just doesn't seem right. How did one individual lead to everybody today? Let's break this down. Our species, sapiens, dates back probably about 300,000 years. So by the time mitochondrial Eve, our last ancestor, was walking around, there had already been 150,000 years of Homo sapien history that had passed. So mitochondrial Eve was definitely not the first female sapien. That's not what this says. If you think about your own family tree, you could probably see some branches that went extinct. The lineage didn't progress. There were no children that had children of their own. That's what's important to realize here with mitochondrial Eve. Mitochondrial Eve is the most recent female because females pass down mitochondrial DNA to females, so it kind of remains separate and we can trace it. So mitochondrial Eve is the most recent female who had a daughter that had another daughter that had another daughter that had another daughter, so on for 10,000 generations or so, with that chain of daughters never breaking. It's important to realize also that the population has changed drastically since this time period. We have a major population that spans the globe today. At this time, all sapiens were still in Africa, so populations could be wiped out a lot easier. In fact, that almost happened around 70,000 years ago. Our species almost went extinct. We see there is a major genetic bottleneck where the numbers were decreased. Some studies have pointed to as few as 1 or 2,000. Some suggest 10,000, maybe 20,000. At the end of the day, we were endangered. So there were probably a lot of these lineages that were lost during that time. And if mitochondrial Eve made it through that time period with a larger proportion of descendants, you could see how they'd overwhelm the rest. There's also a Y chromosome atom, and in 2013, that date was actually pushed back about 100,000 years because DNA was tested from a lineage in Cameroon that was more ancient than any haplogroups ever seen.
Hey TikTok, here's another cool biology fact for you. Because mitochondrial DNA can only be inherited from an ovum, that means that the mitochondrial DNA of every human on this planet can actually be traced back to one woman. We don't know who she is because her identity isn't fixed. 100 years ago, it was a different, older woman. But we know that she lived somewhere between 100 and 250,000 years ago in sub-Saharan Africa, and we refer to her as mitochondrial Eve. And it's not that other women, her contemporaries at the time, were not also reproductively fit. It was really just that those mitochondrial haplotypes inherited from those women, those lineages happened to die out, hers happened to not.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but the Eve gene probably isn't what you think it is. I study biomedical science and I've taken genetics and anthropology classes, so I know a little bit about this. As cool as it would be for a black woman that exists today to possess the genes to create every other human that also walks the earth today, like an unlocked superpower, that's not what the Eve gene is. The Eve gene refers to the mitochondrial Eve, which is the most common female ancestor of all of the females that exist today, and all of the males, I guess. And she lived around 200,000 years ago. Because everyone always inherits their mother's mitochondria and there's almost no recombination, so your mitochondrial DNA is going to be pretty much the same as your mother's. There is a male equivalent for this as well, which is the Y chromosome, and it's called the Y chromosomal atom, I think, where you can trace back lineage of all males because only males inherit the Y chromosome. So the Eve gene has nothing to do with any of the races that exist today in particular, but since all humans did come from Africa, the mitochondrial Eve was a black woman. Just not the black women that exist today. I'm pretty sure that there's been some evolution in the past 200,000 years that have made us better equipped for the life that we live today.
Well, if you make the assumption that the human race arose like around the equator and that skin color or dark skin color would be the phenotype, then are you assuming that as people moved outward, there was a mutation, and if you were in the north, it allowed that mutation to live, which is how we got white people?
Yes,
Would that follow?
Yeah. If Nina Jablonski, who spoke at another one of your things, explained this, and she played a role in studying the reason for dark skin, which is if you have lots of intense sunlight, it destroys folic acid, and it turns out folic acid is really important for babies to develop properly, so it's not too good for a population for the babies to not develop properly. So that's why dark skin. Now, as you move north, there's another essential vitamin called vitamin D. There's an intermediate, biochemical intermediate, that needs to be then converted by the liver, but that intermediate's formed by UV light going through the skin. If you're near the equator and you have a dark skin, it still gets through enough to get your vitamin D. But now if you go north and it's cold and you wrap up and it's less sun because the sun's coming at an angle now, you will get rickets and have other problems supposedly. So that's thought to be the reason for selection for lighter skin.
I seriously love this. When I saw these stitches for the very first time, and seriously, to tell you the truth, this is the first time I'm hearing about something like this, and I made my own research. I decided to look it up to, know more about it. But though, the first time when I came across my For You page on TikTok, I asked myself, is it the reason why there's a phrase that is called the motherland? Like, sometimes I often hear people using that words, motherland, referring motherland to be down there in Africa and all of that. And now this, if DNA come to place, like I came across it on my For You page, and it is all now making sense to me. Why the phrase motherland is used? Why the phrase, the first people that the if DNA would happen to be in the body, or which the DNA can be found in that of a black woman, and possibly this black woman who possesses this DNA has probably passed it through her generation years. But even if some plant color people are still trying to debunk this and not making, like, they're trying to make it feel as if, oh, okay, it's not that serious, it's not that deep. But there is one thing I actually find out about black women. This DNA explains something that has to do with black women have the ability to give birth to any, race of children, or any race of anyway that has to do with, now, sometimes, right, I have seen a lot of black women giving birth to, pan colored. I would say not like white pan color, like a black kids or black children and all of that, but they are actually very fair, you know. Some of them also give birth to these albinos, you know. So, like, that means this DNA is the reason why a black woman can have an albino and give birth to an albino. A black woman can also give birth to a you know, very fair children or whatsoever, even if she is black. That's why sometimes there is this place in the east down there in Africa. It that's it's actually known for their women give birth to fair kids, like fair, not pan color though, like, fair children, fair. That's village or city or whatever is known to have this genetic of all their kids men have very light complexioned children by black women. And these same black men have the ability to still give birth to very dark complexions, kid, or chocolate, or ebony, or albino. And now, this Eve gene that have been explained in the said stitches that I was able to put together come to place. And now all of the findings, the historical stuffs are just beginning to make sense. And this still brings us to something that, Jane Elliott talked about the way or how pan-colored people came to be. In her own explanation, she said that in the beginning, the world was actually filled with people that looks like me. Okay, African black people or something. That was the first people to ever existed. Black people. So it gets to a stage where these black people enter, they got married to each other, they met and all of that, started producing, kids and all of that. And some particular set of people, so particular set of black people decided to migrate to a cooler area that is so cool. And that is why their color starts changing. Their color was just changing to that of pan colored that we know today. This is the way at which I saw some of our video explaining before the issue of Neanderthals and Caucasian Mountain and Caucasian people. So, with all being said, all of these historical findings are all connected together. And one thing I know for sure is that the first people that ever existed in the planet Earth are people that is of a darker skin complexion. I don't know who invented this black and white thing, but people that have a darker skin complexion, are the first people that ever existed in planet Earth. That is to say, even according to the Bible, even if we were lied to, Adam and Eve were even black people. So even if we are lied to. So with all of these findings here and there, Neanderthals, fallen angels coming to meet with people that was already here, who happens to be black people, then the fallen angels came and they met. This is why they started producing, some giants, and these giants end up producing Neanderthals, which they lived in Caucasus Mountain. And this Caucasus Mountain produced what we know today as Caucasians. Oh my God. Anyway, lovelies, why not just correct me if I'm wrong? I'm just here to put it up here for us to, educate ourselves. If you know more about this, please share it, because I'm going to be so pleased to know more. Subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Estelle, why not just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe if you're here to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.